No papers.
No papers.
Woo! Bob, I remember maybe a year ago you coming up here and saying you wrote a whole talk and you had this plan and you got up in the morning and another talk came to you and you didn't know what you were going to do. Well, that's been my experience. So I'm going to start with the talk that I started to write and talk just a little bit about silence, which is very interesting because I helped plan these topics, and my whole business now is wrapped around sound and music. And I work with people using sound and music for all kinds of purposes. So this thought of silence was a little difficult, but I realized that, you know, one of our big lessons in music is, and you flute players and people out there know that the silence between the notes is as important as the notes themselves. So I've had some silence in my life. Like Kim was talking about, I am the #1 doer. I move at 1,000 miles an hour, and Rick will tell you that I get up in the morning and I am pretty much going with something, either in my hands, working on it, off doing something, got something going on all the time. And the universe said, but this month is silence and follow and receptivity. And I didn't listen. I was still moving. I was still going. Look at it go. Look at it go. And I fell. I was working on the patio. I was taking some photographs, and I was using a chair as instead of, I was lazy. I didn't want to get the table out and get the backdrop out. I had a nice wooden chair, and I put the backdrop over the chair, and I was taking a picture of something, and I turned around, and I have a stake in my yard, like a lot of us use for our dogs because I don't have fencing. So I have this stake in the patio, and it's like this little triangle thing, and then we put his 20-foot lead on it so the dog can be safe but be outside by himself or with us. It caught my pant leg and threw me on the ground. I mean, that's the only thing I can say is that it threw me on the ground. And I really wish today that it was the ground that it threw me on, but it threw me on my concrete patio. And I landed on my elbow. And that was 2.5 weeks ago. And I'm happy to say I can touch my head. I can't go much further than that still. I had to spend multiple days sitting with my arm propped on a pillow with ice on it. And I learned a lot. Not just from the experience and not just from the silence, but I want to talk to you about what I've learned. I'm a science of mind person. I am a religious scientist. That's all I can tell you. And I am a religious scientist for a reason. I have been studying this for years and years and years. And one of the things I love about religious science is that we work in the field of mental healing, but we don't require it. If you have a medical issue, a physical issue, and you want to go see a doctor, you can. If you have a mental or emotional issue and you need to see a therapist, you can. There are other offshoots of where we began that don't do that. You know, Christian Science, they really look down on using doctors, and we don't. But I've learned to use my intuition. And when this happened, I moved my wrist, and I didn't move quite this much, but it moved, and I could bend it. And I said, it's not broken. Felt all the bones, didn't feel anything broken, and I made the conscious decision not to go a medical direction. Now, I will tell you that I am personally, and this is not judgment on anyone else, please. Personally, I don't like Western medicine. I really don't like it much at all. We use it when we have to, but I don't care for it. So it's going to be my last option. And I still don't feel I'm at last option. I can't tell you how many people have said, you didn't get an x-ray! No, I didn't get an x-ray. I knew that it was okay. It's still getting better. Every day I see improvement. But I've had some scares. You know, I've had people that have gotten me a little upset. I had someone tell me, oh, you got a chip in the bone. You need to go get that. I didn't believe that, but it took me like 3 hours to get through that. I went home and cried. Because I allowed myself to move out of my truth for that short time. So what is my truth? I stand up here all the time and I tell you, divine right action is taking place no matter what it looks like. You are perfect, whole, and complete no matter what's happening with your physical or emotional being. I'm still perfect, whole, and complete. I don't know what the end result's going to be with this. But I wandered around carrying Adele this morning. And my left arm's gotten really strong. I can almost eat in public left-handed. Soup is still tough. But you know what? It's all good. It's all good. And I'm okay. That's a place I've never been before. I've spent 2 of the 2.5 weeks since this happened thinking about what I need to do to heal my arm. And I believe in energy work, and I've been doing that. I believe in prayer work, I've been doing that. But it hit me a few days ago that there's nothing to heal. Have we heard this before? But you don't know it until you know it. There's nothing to heal. It's all good. It's all love. What it's given me is this fallow time. And Kim, thank you for describing fallow because, you know, even though we wrote this up, I thought it said tallow and I had to write about candles or something. I guess I was off on that one. And it's taught me that it's okay. Okay, I took 2 full days to not do anything and just sat in a chair. I honestly couldn't go any further than that. I had to figure out something I could do. 2 full days is a lot for me. But this time has shown me that it is important to slow down. That it is important to take that time. Because if you don't, as many of you have experienced, if there's something you know you need to do and you don't do it, what happens? Something catastrophic happens in your life, and it happens no matter what. We can do things the hard way or we can do things the easy way. I am not above learning these lessons. I chose to do it the hard way. We don't need to do that. Can I tell your story? Can I tell your accident story?
Oh, yeah.
Rick, I didn't write anything. I didn't plan it, so I'm winging it, guys. Rick was in a job that he really disliked. Not very happy with it. He was in a situation where he was driving very long distances, over an hour each way. Over an hour each way to go to work.
Traffic, driving.
Just driving, not traffic, just driving. Kind of like going from here to Fresno, which I had to do too, but he was unhappy in the situation. And he'd already had some other difficulties, and he's driving home one day, and he ends up in a five car accident where his foot was broken again, and he couldn't work. And the end result was he stopped doing that job. If the universe is telling you something, if your intuition is guiding you, and you know there's changes you need to make in your life, if you don't choose to make those, and you know in your heart that this is the right choice, and you don't do it, something's going to happen. And it's going to work out that way anyhow. You can do it the easy way, or you can do it the hard way. I highly recommend the easy way.
Oh, yeah.
Highly recommend the easy way. But something else has happened. I've had to go ask for help. I am the most independent person in the world. I will move the piano by myself before I will ask for help. I hate asking for help. But I'm at a point where I have to receive. Isn't it interesting that all three of these things happened in my own experience, whether I liked it or not? I wanted to make, the first couple of nights Rick had to cook. I was not able to move very much at all, and Rick had to cook. I've been getting by ever since, but last night I wanted to make roasted vegetables, and I had a beautiful butternut squash. Do you know how hard it is to cut into a butternut squash? Well, it ain't happening left-handed, I gotta tell you, when you're a right-handed person. Rick was out in the shop, and I had to go out to the shop knowing he's working. I mean, the man we work at home. He's working, he's doing our work. I go out to the shop, and I sheepishly say, "Can you come help me for a minute?" And of course he says yes. I mean, he's helped me over and over and over and over and over again. I couldn't even get dressed the first couple of days. I was able to do the bathroom stuff by myself. But I've had to learn to ask for help. These are lessons that I guess I needed to learn. No, I know I needed to learn. Which tells me that divine right action is taking place no matter what it looks like. And I am perfect, whole, and complete. So I'm going to ask you to do something here. I'm going to ask you to take a few moments of silence. A few moments of just sitting still. I want you to put your hand on your heart. If you can, feel your heartbeat. And ask yourself what it is I need to do, I need to not do. What do I know I need to change? What am I fighting? What do I need to let go of? What has to happen for me to understand that I am perfect, whole, and complete? What do I need in order to trust my intuition, no matter what anyone says? If there is anything in your life that is not creating absolute and perfect bliss, you can change it now. If there is anything in your life that is not creating magnificent, perfect, beautiful bliss, you can change it now. I give you permission. Go ahead and open your eyes. I told you I didn't write this. I didn't know what I was going to do. The last time I did that, there were a lot of shifts and changes from the people sitting in the room, and it's been a long time. I ended up with that guy because of that statement. So the last thing I have to do is work on receptivity. If you believe that I am perfect, whole, and complete, no matter what, if you believe that it doesn't matter what this looks like, doesn't matter if it never gets better than it is now, the divine right action is taking place, will you come up and stand with me?